This is 70s Sitcom Flashback, the show that looks back at the sitcoms that defined the 1970s. Your hosts are Robbie and Terry, both 15. Every week they break it down so you actually get it.
Well, that's a show that looks back at the sitcoms that defined the 1970s. I'm Terry.
And I'm Robbie, and today we're talking about Rhoda, the spin-off that somehow outshone its own parent show right out of the gate.
Rhoda Morgenstern, everybody. She left Minneapolis, moved back to New York, and suddenly America couldn't get enough of her.
The show launched in September of 1974 on CBS, and it was an instant smash, like embarrassingly successful for a new show.
Valerie Harper had already played Rhoda on the Mary Tyler Moore Show for 5 seasons, so audiences already loved her walking in.
Right, she wasn't a stranger. She was basically the funny best friend who finally got promoted to the front of the poster.
And the premiere episode, Rhoda's Wedding, drew something like 50 million viewers, 50 million people watching one TV wedding.
That is a genuinely staggering number. To put it in perspective, that's roughly 1 in 4 Americans at the time glued to their sets.
The wedding episode aired in October of 1974 and is still one of the most watched TV events of that entire decade.
Joe Girard, her husband, was played by David Groh, and for a while they were kind of TV's golden couple.
For a while, the producers made a move that a lot of fans still argue about. They split Rhoda and Joe up.
Starting in season 3, the divorce storyline kicked in, and the ratings started sliding pretty noticeably after that.
Which is wild because a divorced woman as the central character was still pretty bold for network TV in the mid-70s.
Bold, yes, but audiences apparently tuned in, hoping things would work out, not to watch the marriage unravel week after week.
The show also had Rhoda's sister Brenda, played by Julie Kavner, who was honestly hilarious and became a fan favorite fast.
Julie Kavner, who you might also know as the voice of Marge Simpson, a job she has held for like 40 years now.
Brenda was self-deprecating, warm, and genuinely funny. She balanced Rhoda's sharper edges really well throughout the whole run.
The whole Morgenstern family dynamic was a big part of what made the show feel different. They were a Jewish family, and that identity was front and center.
Which was a meaningful choice in 1974 prime time. The show didn't soften or hide that cultural specificity at all.
Nancy Walker played Rhoda's mother, Ida, and she was a force of nature, equal parts maddening and completely lovable.
The mother-daughter tension between Ida and Rhoda was some of the sharpest writing on television that decade, honestly.
Rhoda herself worked in a window dressing business, which was a fun, creative, unglamorous job that felt real and specific.
Not a doctor, not a lawyer, she made store window displays. It was refreshingly ordinary and made the character feel grounded.
The show ran for 5 seasons, wrapping up in 1978, which is a solid run even by today's standards.
It won 4 Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Comedy Series, and Valerie Harper personally took home 3 Emmys for the role over her career.
3 Emmys for playing one character. That's not luck, that's craft. Valerie Harper was just genuinely extraordinary in this role.
She brought this vulnerability underneath all the wisecracks that made you root for Rhoda even when things weren't going her way.
And things genuinely weren't going her way pretty often. The show wasn't afraid to let Rhoda struggle and fail sometimes.
That honesty is a big part of why it holds up. It wasn't all tidy resolutions and lesson of the week wrapped in a bow.
The New York setting also gave it a completely different energy from the Mary Tyler Moore Show's Minneapolis warmth.
New York felt a little rougher, faster, funnier in a different way, and Rhoda fit right into that energy perfectly.
The opening credit sequence with Rhoda narrating her own life story over quick city shots is genuinely iconic television craft.
She introduces herself, she makes fun of herself, and you're already on her side before the episode even starts. Brilliant setup.
The show influenced basically every single woman in the city sitcom that came after it, whether those shows knew it or not.
You can draw a pretty straight line from Rhoda through to Murphy Brown, through to Sex and the City, through to a dozen others.
It also proved that audiences would follow a supporting character into their own show, which opened a door that TV has been walking through ever since.
Spin-offs were not new, but a spin-off beating its own parent show in the ratings right away? That was a different thing entirely.
Rhoda as a character was messy, funny, self-aware, and deeply human, which is exactly why she deserved her own show in the first place.
Valerie Harper passed away in 2019, and the tributes poured in from everyone who grew up watching her. She clearly mattered to people.
If you've never seen Rhoda, go find it. It's charming, fast, funny, and it still feels surprisingly fresh for a show from over 50 years ago.
And if you have seen it, maybe revisit it. You'll probably catch things you missed the first time around.
That's our show for today. Thanks for spending some time with us and with Rhoda Morgenstern, New York's favorite window dresser. See you next week on 70s Sitcom Flashback.